Haemophilia is a genetic disease that prevents blood from clotting as it should. This means a person who has the disease bleeds much more than a person without it. Haemophilia is a genetic disorder as a result of changes in genes that are either passed from parent to child or occur in the development of the fetus.
As you can see from this diagram, blood clotting is a complicated process which can be called coagulation. Coagulation consists of a damaged blood vessel wall being plugged by a platelet and a fibrin-containing clot to staunch bleeding so that the damage can be repaired. There are different proteins or fibrin involved in this process with different factors. Fibrin and platelets combine through a chemical reaction to clot. If one of these factors, typically 9 and 7, is mutated or is lacking, one can no longer clot a wound as is required. This is what we call haemophilia. The genetics behind haemophilia are a complicated thing. Firstly, men and women both have 23 pairs of X chromosomes. While women have 2 X chromosomes, men have 1 X and 1 Y. Due to haemophilia being an X-linked genetic disorder, it can be passed from mother to son on the X chromosome. If the mother carries the gene for haemophilia as a result of one of her X chromosomes having a mutation, each of her sons will have a 50% chance of having haemophilia, whilst her daughters could be carriers. If you are female and one X chromosome does not work, it will be okay because you have a backup, and it is rare to have 2 X chromosomes that don't work. If you are male and your X chromosome does not work, you don't have a backup.
If a father has haemophilia, there are 2 possible outcomes of having a child. Because the sons will always receive an X chromosome from the mother and a Y chromosome from the father, they are all hemophilia-free. The daughters will always receive the hemophilia-affected X chromosome from the father and a non-affected or affected X chromosome from the mother. Daughters of hemophilic males are always carriers.
There are different types of haemophilia. Haemophilia A. This person has low levels or is missing completely factor VIII. This is the most prominent type of hemophilia. Haemophilia B. This person is missing factor IX and is also called the Christmas disease after Stefan Christmas, the first known case. Haemophilia C consists of a person who is missing factor XI. This occurs in both males and females. The first people to discover haemophilia were Jews. They put in place a law for families in which if they had already lost 2 of their children to circumcision, then the third would not be circumcised.
The first royal to have haemophilia was Queen Victoria, upon which the blood disorder became known as a royal disease because Queen Victoria was a carrier and passed the carrier status down to many of her daughters. As a result of inter-royal marriage, many royal families were affected by the haemophilia gene. She was the first well-known person to be a carrier of haemophilia, but we can't blame her for passing it on to many, as we wouldn't have had things like Rasputin and that great song about him, or even the current British royal family.
2 of Queen Victoria's daughters, Alice and Beatrice, were also carriers of haemophilia. Beatrice gave birth to 2 sons who had haemophilia, Leopold and Morris. She also had a daughter who became the Queen of Spain and who, like her own mother, was a carrier of haemophilia. She gave birth to 2 sons who had haemophilia, Alfonso and Gonzalo.
The most famous case of haemophilia was Alexei, great-grandson of Queen Victoria and son of Alexander and Nicholas Tsar of Russia. He bled frequently and for prolonged periods of time, starting in an early age. Famous medicinal healer who cured him was the monk Rasputin. Now that we have explained and put into context haemophilia, one can now say that the reason the male descendants of Queen Victoria often died younger than the females in the family because of being affected by the different types of haemophilia, whilst females, being carriers, were hardly ever affected by the mutation.
Created using Powtoon.